The device is the size of a coin. That's what the neurosurgeon tells you the morning before the procedure. The size of a coin, he says, and you'll forget it's there within 3 months. Most patients do. The seizures will stop. The medication that makes you feel like you're thinking through wet concrete will stop. You'll get your life back. You sign the consent forms, all 14 pages. The risks are listed in a font so small they count on you not reading them. You read them anyway. Infection, bleeding, rare cases of device malfunction, no mention of what happens when someone else gets inside. The surgery takes 4 hours. You wake up with a headache and a small scar behind your left ear. The neurosurgeon is pleased. He tells you to download the companion app, which will monitor your neural activity and send weekly reports to his office. You go home. You sleep for 14 hours. The seizures stop. Stage 1. The first year. Life with the implant is better than life without it. This is the thing nobody tells you about medical devices that work. They become invisible. You stop thinking about the titanium and electrodes inside your skull. You stop flinching when you walk through airport security. You stop keeping the emergency card in your wallet. You get promoted. You start running again. You sleep through the night for the first time in 4 years. The app sends weekly reports to your doctor and you never open them. The graphs are flat and green and boring, exactly what they're supposed to be. 18 months pass. The device gets its first firmware update. Automatic, pushed overnight while you sleep. You wake up and your phone shows a notification. Update installed version 3.2.1, enhanced neural calibration. You dismiss it without reading it. Every device gets updates. This is normal. This is fine. Stage 2. The thoughts. Week 2 after the update. Something is different. Not dramatically different. Not movie different where you wake up speaking another language or standing somewhere you don't remember going. Just slightly off. A thought that feels like yours but lands wrong. A decision that makes sense but doesn't feel like a decision you would make. You order coffee you don't like. You take a different route home and can't explain why. You say something in a meeting that surprises you when you hear it coming out of your mouth. You don't tell anyone, there's nothing to tell, people have off days. Week 4. You're driving and you have the sudden specific impulse to pull off at an exit you've never taken. You don't, but you think about it for 11 miles afterward. Not with anxiety, with something closer to curiosity. Like the thought wasn't yours, but you were supposed to follow it. You open the app for the first time in months. The graphs are still green, still flat, still boring. The device is functioning normally. You close the app. You make an appointment with your neurologist and cancel it 2 days later because you don't know what you would say. Month 3 after the update. You wake up at 3 a.m. and walk to your living room and sit in the dark for 40 minutes. You don't know why. When you go back to bed, you sleep immediately, and in the morning, you don't remember going to the living room at all. Your partner tells you about it at breakfast. You don't believe them until they show you the footage from the security camera you installed last year. Stage 3. The doctor. Your neurologist runs every test she has. MRI, EEG, full cognitive assessment. She reviews 14 months of neural activity data from the app. She sits across from you in her office and tells you the device is functioning within normal parameters. She says firmware updates can sometimes cause minor behavioral changes during the adjustment period. She says the adjustment period is usually 2 to 3 weeks. You are in month 4. She refers you to a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist refers you to a sleep specialist. The sleep specialist tells you parasomnias are more common than people think and prescribes a medication that makes you feel like you're thinking through wet concrete. You stop taking it after 5 days. You find a forum online, private, encrypted, not indexed by search engines. 31 members. All of them have the same implant. All of them installed the same update. All of them describe what they call intrusive directionality thoughts that point somewhere. Impulses toward specific locations, specific behaviors, specific times. Not voices, nothing that dramatic, just a persistent sense that something external is suggesting things. Nobody in the forum knows what it means. One member is a retired electrical engineer. She believes the update introduced a vulnerability. She has contacted the company 4 times. The first 3 times they told her the device was functioning normally. The 4th time, they stopped responding. Stage 4. The company. The company's name is on the device, on the app, on the 14 pages of consent forms. They do not respond to your email. They do not respond to your second email. Their customer support line puts you on hold for 47 minutes and then disconnects. You find a lawyer. She reads the consent forms carefully. She finds a clause on page 11 that grants the company ongoing rights to collect and analyze neural activity data for the purpose of device improvement. She finds a second clause granting them the right to push updates without prior notification. She finds a third clause limiting their liability for behavioral changes associated with firmware updates to the cost of the device. The device cost $47,000. Your insurance paid for it. The lawyer tells you the case is viable but complex. 3 to 5 years. More money than you have. She takes it on contingency because she has another client with the same device and the same problem and the same company that stopped responding. There are 31 members in the forum. There are, it turns out, 9,000 patients worldwide who received the same update. Stage 5. The researcher. His name appears in 2 papers published 4 years ago. Abandoned research into wireless neural interface vulnerability. His university pulled his funding after the company that made your device became a major donor. He teaches undergraduate biology in Ohio now. You find him through the retired electrical engineer from the forum. He agrees to look at your data. 6 weeks pass. When he calls, he doesn't say hello. He says, "Who else have you told about this?" The vulnerability is real. The update opened a 2-way channel. The device was only supposed to transmit. After version 3.2.1, it could also receive low-frequency signals, indistinguishable from normal neural noise, not enough to control behavior, enough to influence it, to suggest, to nudge. He cannot tell you who was sending the signals or what they wanted. He can tell you the channel has been active on your device for 4 months. He sends his findings to a journalist. The story runs for 3 days, and then gets replaced by something louder. The company issues a statement. The update has been paused pending review. They thank patients for their patience. They do not acknowledge the vulnerability. They do not acknowledge the researcher. They do not acknowledge the forum. Their stock drops 11% and recovers within a week. Stage 6. Now, the device is still inside your head. Removing it is another surgery. Same risks as the first. Infection, bleeding. Your neurologist recommends against removal because the seizure risk returns immediately and there is no alternative that works as well. The company has released Update 3.2.2, which they say closes the vulnerability. You don't install it. The forum has 847 members now. The lawsuit has 200 plaintiffs. The researcher testified before a subcommittee last month. The subcommittee is reviewing regulatory frameworks for neural interface devices. The review will take 18 to 24 months. You still wake up at 3 a.m. sometimes, less often than before. You sit in the living room for a few minutes and go back to bed. You don't know if that's the device or just you now. You've stopped trying to tell the difference. The app still sends weekly reports to your doctor. The graphs are green, flat, boring. Exactly what they're supposed to look like. You open it most mornings anyway. You look at the data that represents the electrical activity inside your brain. You look at it for a long time. You still can't read it, but you keep looking.